welcome everyone. We're so thrilled to be able to bring you Dr. Bill Sears today. We have been a fan for decades of his work. He's filled with so much knowledge, insight, and ultimately hope of how we can heal. And we just want to extend a warm welcome and say thank you so much for being with us, Dr. Bill.
Well, thank you, Dee. It's a pleasure to be with you.
Thank you.
Oh, Dee, I got to tell you, Dr. Bill is one of my favorites. Dr. Bill, my dear friend, welcome. So happy you're here. We're super excited about chatting with you today. Can I share a little bit more about you, Dr. Bill, and a little bit more about your bio? So extensive. So many of our folks know you, Bill, from all your work and all your writings, but can I brag on you for a bit? Would you mind?
Thank you, Sean.
Just give me a couple of minutes just to brag on you. Dr. Sears has been advising busy parents on how to raise healthier families for over 40 years, Bill. That's incredible. And now turns his attention to the specialty of lifestyle medicine, which we're going to dive into. He served as a voluntary professor at the University of Toronto, the University of South Carolina, the University of Southern California School of Medicine, go Trojans, yes, and the University of California, Irvine. I love this. Bill and Martha he's a father of 8 children, and his wife Martha they've written more than 45 books on parenting, nutrition, and healthy aging. That's unbelievable, Bill. And he serves as a consultant for television, magazines, radio, and other media, and he's the co-founder of AskDrSears.com and the Dr. Sears Wellness Institute, which has certified over 11,000 health coaches around the world. Dr. Sears and his contribution to family health were featured on the cover of Time magazine, and he is noted for his science made simple and fun approach to family health. We are so honored to have you, Dr. Bill, and we can't wait to dive in and chat with you today.
Oh, thank you, Sean. It's an honor to be with you both. It's a subject that I love. I love talking about health.
Oh, I love it.
Your bio is quite extensive. I just want to say wow and more wow.
And we're gonna have fun today.
We're going to have some fun. You know, for those of you that have been so taken back by your work and inspired by it, it'd be nice to know a little bit about your personal story. What got you involved in health, and what has kept your commitment so renewed and so passionate these years to dive into these topics of expressing it in 40 plus books, etc.
Well, Dee, my health journey began in 1997 with a major event that changed my life for the better. I got colon cancer. Cancer caused me to care. Cancer caused me to change my life. So I had a lot to live for. 8 children, lots of grandchildren, more on the way. And I thought, I've got to not only survive and live long, but thrive. I wanted to thrive. I just didn't want to have a long lifespan. I wanted to have a long brain span too. So I wanted to thrive. So I remember what my mother taught me. Well, this goes back to what Mom said. I grew up in a financially very poor home, a single mother, and my mother very early on taught me the key to life. She surrounded me with smart mentors, people of experience, people who taught me how to live and love. And I carried that mindset into my cancer survival. I thought, okay, I need to surround myself. Dr. Mom said, surround yourself with mentors. So I surrounded myself with university professors, nutritionists, personal trainers. That's how I met Sean, and a Nobel Prize winner on health, which you're going to meet later. So the mentors taught me so much about how to start. And what I learned from all that is make health your hobby. That's what I came away with. Make health your hobby. And so that's how I started in 1997.
Make health your hobby. It's a fun way to look at it.
Isn't that awesome? And you know, Dee, I don't know if I've shared this with you, but I met Dr. Bill exactly as he mentioned. He wanted some personal training. He wanted some fitness training for himself. And then we got to talking, and we started talking about kids' health, and we started talking about how he started sharing with me his idea for what he called the LEAN program: lifestyle, exercise, attitude, and nutrition. And then he said, Sean, you want to write the fitness chapter for the Lean Kids book? And I said, what? Like, are you kidding me, Dr. Bill? You're asking me to write with you? And I was so intimidated, but Dr. Bill nurtured me and helped me to write this chapter. And he was so gracious and so kind. And oh my gosh, Bill, that you have transformed, you and Martha and your family, you have transformed so many people's lives. I mean, so many families, so many children, so many individuals, my life, my wife's life. I can't thank you enough, Dr. Bill, for all you've done. And, you know, when we mention the word transform, can you talk a little bit about that? Because you use that word a lot.
Yes, and that's the magic word in health, Sean. Transform is more than change. Transform means it's an inside job. I wanted healthy aging to be part of the inside. I wanted to get that inner prompt, sort of a nag inside that tells me, eat this, do this, think this. And so I began to crave it. Maybe I didn't like broccoli, but I needed to like broccoli. So I'll eat broccoli. And then eventually this inner voice inside transformed me and said, I crave broccoli. And so once I got that inner voice, that drive, that transformation, I realized, okay, where do I start? Where in the body? Where in the world of the body do I start? I thought blood vessel health. Because I mean, you and I had talked about many times that one of my mantras was, we teach that in the Wellness Institute, every organ of your body is only as healthy as the blood flow to it. So better blood flow, better blood vessels, better aging. That makes sense. So I really devoted myself to learning about healthy blood vessels. That's how I got started.
I love that, Bill. And you know what? I want to share a video with our audience, if that's okay, Bill, just to talk about. Dee, would you mind giving me permission? For some reason, I'm not able to share my screen, but if you have a moment. But Bill, this is important, isn't it? Because you and I talked a lot about movement, exercise, right? Keeping body moving. And you really have taken exercise to another level. I mean, it's going into the bloodstream, it's going into literally your cells, right?
Exactly, Sean. And that's when I realized that the blood vessels were the key, and the lining of the blood vessels, called the endothelium, was the key. So I'm sitting back one day, I'm walking to the beach, and I'm thinking somewhere inside our body is a giant pharmacy. Now, the great designer of the greatest machine and computer in the world, our brain and our body, the great designer knew we mere humans are going to mess it up by the way we eat, think, and live. So somewhere inside our body is a giant pharmacy to make up for our mess ups. I thought, where is it? It's in the endothelium, the lining of the blood vessels. That makes sense. If you wanted to open a pharmacy and pour medicines into your bloodstream the quickest, you would put it in the lining of your blood vessels. So I'll tell you a story. So I realized I wanted to learn about the endothelium. And a friend of mine said, oh, there's an expert in endothelium just up the road from you who won the Nobel Prize. This is Dr. Lou Ignarro at UCLA. So I called Lou. I said, Lou, I want to learn more about the endothelium. So, okay, Bill, come on up, have dinner with me. So Martha and I hop in the car, go up to Beverly Hills, sit there for about 5 hours, listening to the Nobel Prize winner teach me about the endothelium. Wow. Now this is, I'm a pediatrician, 50 years in practice, 8 children. So after a while, Sean, you know, you begin to think like a child, write like a child, draw like a child. Martha says, act like a child. So Lou is teaching me his Nobel Prize winning theory and proof that the lining of our blood vessels has trillions of microscopic medicine bottles That's where our personal pharmacy lives.
Mm.
We all have it, but the problem is we don't know how to protect it. And for most of it, it's closed. So I thought, aha, I want to keep my pharmacy open. And how do you do that? You move. And
Yeah.
the mantra that I've lived with now for the past 20 years is movement makes your own medicines. Movement opens your pharmacy. And that's what won the Nobel Prize.
I love that, Bill. That is so good.
It's funny that the old guy on the treadmill. So my grandkids call that Grandpa's playroom. So when they come over and I'm on the treadmill there on the elliptical, they say, "Oh, Grandpa's in his playroom."
You know, it's so wonderful. I know you and I have had many conversations about the impact that exercise can have to just move our body throughout the day, right? Just being active, like you said, playing more. And just that visualization, the idea of opening the pharmacy as you're moving, your body's working for you, is so brilliant. And, you know, Bill, can we go back for a second? Because you mentioned in 1997, when you were diagnosed with cancer, you used these ideas to help heal your body, literally. And I think it's amazing to me to see you're not just studying the science, you've lived this. Like you're a physician that not only sees patients, but you are constantly experimenting with your own health and how to improve your own health. I'd love for you to talk a little bit about that.
Yes. And so once I learned I had a pharmacy, I realized that Dr. Mom was right when she said, go outside and play. So Sean, it's not only movement makes our own medicines, but movement outdoors. And I learned this over in Japan when Martha and I were giving a lecture on healthy aging. And, you know, Asian lectures are very long. And so at the end of the lecture, our host, Mr. Saganishi, comes out and says, we're going to take you and Martha out for some Shinrin Yoku, which I thought was a Japanese drink. So we get in his car and we drove into a woods, a forest with trees through a tree tunnel. And we stopped and he said, now we're going to go and celebrate some Shinrin Yuko, which is forest bathing. Shinrin Yoku forest bathing in Japan. We over here call it nature therapy. So that's when I realized why neurologists, brain experts call movement in nature outdoors exercise squared. And I thought, well, you know, this sounds nice. It's kind of a nice old custom, but show me the science, you know, American. You and I talked about that so many times. Show me the science. Well,
Yes.
there is science. So he told me about Nippon University School of Medicine over in Tokyo, where they have a department of Shinrin Yoku, a forest bathing department, nature therapy department. And what they do, they take people out into the woods and they wire them up with windows into the brain. The new technology is fantastic. And they take fluid from every orifice in the body and they measure it. And after a half hour movement or walk in the woods, stress hormones go down, happy hormones go up. Your immune system, army, comes out and fights smarter for you, which we're going to talk about a little bit later, our immune system. And a good old walk in the woods. Wow. So that's why our mom says, go outside and play. So when patients come into my office, well, say you come into my office, Sean, you said you had some stuff going on. we call it stuff. I said, well, Sean, how much time do you spend every day moving outdoors? You'd be surprised. Why is that important? So that's why I wanted to make the point. The more you can move outdoors, the longer you're going to live and the healthier you're going to live.
Oh, I love it.
Amazing. A whole new motivation and momentum to get out that door and take a walk. Sounds beautiful.
Yeah, go outside and play. And the other day somebody said to me, Bill, at age 81, are you over the hill? And I said, yes, and I'm picking up speed.
Well, good. We want to know how you're picking up speed. That's perfect. So Dr. Bill, let's just camp there for a minute. So what are some of your top healthy aging tips? I mean, at 81, you're more vibrant and alive than most 20-year-olds. What are some healthy aging tips that you can send our way?
Well, I guess one of the things I do is I like to, I hold these together. I get exercise like this. This is the heart and this is the brain. They are partners in health. And to make it simple, you hold the 5 keys to healthy aging in the palm of your hand. Move smart, eat smart, think smart, sleep smart, and serve smart. I want to go through each one of those very, very quickly. The move smart, we already talked about. Movement makes your medicine. So do that as much as you can. I want our viewers now, tomorrow when you're walking with friends or you're taking a walk or just something like that, just say, I'm opening my pharmacy. I'm making my own medicines. You don't have to explain it, but just imagine, visualize when you're going for that walk, those medicine bottles opening and flooding your system with healthy aging medicine. So that's move smart. Then eat smart. All right, very simply, I call it my 5S diet. See, we're all on a diet. Diet simply means a way of eating. And my 5S diet is the first S, a smoothie in the morning. This is my smoothie in the morning. I start with a nice big smoothie. And then in the evening, I have a salad with spices. That's the second one. And then the third one, my top food for healthy aging is a piece of salmon. And those who may not believe it's a top aging food, Google the nutrient content of a piece of wild salmon. Google the nutrient content of the human brain. Put them side by side, perfect match. There is no other food on the planet who gives you more healthy aging than a good old fillet of salmon. And the next S, after the smoothie, salads and spices and salmon, is smart snacking. Smart snacking. Sean, we are a country of gorgers. We're out to dinner. I want to say to slow down, man. Take time to dine. So I developed what we call the rule of twos, one of the top teaching in our Wellness Institute. Eat twice as often, eat half as much, chew twice as long, and take twice the time to dine. And to help the kids remember that, chew times 2, chew times 2. Now, sometimes, you have to go a little deeper into the body to get kids to remember things. So doctors and kids, they like potty talk. So to get them to remember, I'll say, the better you chew, the better you poo. Moms will come in and say, you hit it, because he was all stuffed up all the time. And that nailed it. See, so snacking is so, and really the smaller your meal, the better you feel, especially as we age. Our mind is telling us slow down and savor. See, so that's the eating, my 5S diet. And then I supplements based on science. So that's my 5S diet. I try to do most, say, 5 days a week. And my favorite top 8 foods really for healthy aging: salmon, eggs. An egg, a measly 75 calories, all kinds of nutrients. Avocados and olive oil and nuts. And then greens and berries. Those are my favorite. So easy way to remember is go fish, go green, go blue, and go nuts. I just kind of I carry my little trail mix of nuts,
Oh my gosh.
and I nibble on nuts when I'm hungry. So that's sort of my healthy aging diet in, shall we say, a nutshell.
Oh
I
my
just
God.
want to say, like, your acronyms are beyond and beyond. You've got like 5 keys. You've got the 5S diet. You got the rule of 2s. You've got your 8 favorite foods. My favorite is go fish, go green, go blue, and go nuts. That's our new Rise food philosophy. Go fish,
You
go
have
green, go blue, go nuts.
you have a very good memory.
It's like really fun. You've made it fun. Like, wow. And then the
You know,
smoothie salad.
it's fun to you know, it's because you have a very good memory, because one of the things that starts to go when you age is your short-term memory.
Mm.
Now, our long-term memory is good. I can remember things I did when I was 3 years of age. But our short-term memory, you know, you go upstairs to get something, you forgot what you go up there for. But in some ways, it's kind of fun, because I forget if I told the same story. So I may tell you the same story toward the end of this program that I told you at the beginning, because I forgot I told you. So it's kind of fun to just laugh about these little quirks you have.
Exactly. We have a lot of them already. I picked up my husband's computer this morning and I said, "Hey, babe, you want your computer?" And he said, "Sure." And then I went and I put it somewhere, got my cup of tea, came back, and he said, "Where's my computer?" And I said, "Somewhere."
Right.
I can't remember where it was. He laughed.
Yeah.
He said, "Yeah, I got you."
There you go.
Okay, so you said the 5S diet: the smoothie, the salad with spices, the salmon, the smart snacky. Do you have a general rule of thumb, another acronym in the area of supplements, a kind of a basic guide, or is that too much of a intense question for another time?
Yes, for science-based supplements, real quick.
Yeah.
In my office, because, you know, doctors in a hurry in the office. So I'm saying, all right, when somebody asks me supplement, show me the necessity. Do you need it? Number one. Well, we all need to eat 10 fistfuls. So hold up your fist. So if you have a big guy fist, Sean's fist is probably bigger than mine and yours, Steve. So if you're a big fist, 10 fistfuls of fruits and vegetables every day. And you need to eat 2 fistfuls of wild salmon every week. And a patient may say, "Well, doctor, I can't eat that many fruits and vegetables. I can't eat that much salmon." So you don't eat it, therefore you must take it. And they're saying, "Oh, that makes sense. Well, what do I take?" Well, my 2 top supplements are omega-3s, the top fat in wild salmon. Now that's important, because, now this is all brand new, Sean.
Yeah.
We actually, with a little finger stick, measure the amount of omega-3s in your bloodstream, because omega-3 is the top fat in your brain. And I get kids to remember that. I call them little fatheads. "Hi, you're a fathead." And then, so omega-3s, if you don't eat seafood, and you can get a vegan source of omega-3s too for vegans, it's the sea plant, and vitamin D. If you don't go outside and play much, vitamin D, and needs to be above 50. These old figures need, so I check all the time in my office, vitamin D level and the omega-3 level. And then I often have them get fruit and vegetable supplements, sometimes an astaxanthin supplement, the pink pigment in salmon, but generally it's my three favorite supplements are fruit, vegetable, and berry supplements, omega-3, and vitamin D, those three.
That's great.
Hey, Bill, can we talk a little bit about gut health? Would you mind chatting a little
Yeah,
bit?
yeah,
I'd
sure.
love to have you dive in a little bit on gut health.
Yeah, the gut health, the term microbiome is a big term now. The microbiome simply means our community of gut bugs.
Mm.
The bugs that live in the bacteria mainly that live in our gut, and in return for free food and a warm place to live, they do good things for us. It's another pharmacy. They make medicines to get us have a healthier gut. My favorite medicine they make is that it keeps the gut from leaky gut. So you absorb what you should, but it protects you from absorbing what you shouldn't. Now, what's interesting, the gut is now called the second brain.
Right.
For a reason. And here's what happens. The head brain, picture the head brain sending a biochemical text message down the vagus nerve, the biggest nerve of our body, from the head down the middle of the body, branching all throughout the gut. And the head brain says, hey, gut brain, how you doing down there? And the gut brain sends a biochemical text message back up to the head brain and says, we're doing fine down here as long as you don't stress me out up here. See, so there's this constant communication, this social network between the head brain and the gut brain going on constantly, 24 hours a day, 24/7, keeping each other in check, the head brain and the gut brain. So be good to your gut, and that 5S diet and all is really good to your gut.
I love that.
Do you have any
That's
other
so good.
recommendations for somebody that's really struggling with gut health? I can easily start your 5S diet. That sounds great. We can do the supplements you recommended. But I hear more often than not people struggling with a variety of different types of gut issues, whether it's IBS or just symptoms of bloating or not digesting well.
Yeah.
Any other pointers on that aspect?
Well, really, that's one of the reasons I went to the smoothie. We call it the sipping solution. Now, on our website, askdrsears.com, on our institute, Dr. Sears Wellness Institute, we teach the sipping solution, and the gut likes, because you do more. Your blender takes the work from the gut. See, your blender is as like your stomach, it blends it. So when it comes down into your gut, the gut says, like, thank you for doing all the work at the top end, so we feel better at the bottom end. So that's why sometimes when I have a patient with a gut problem, I start with a sipping solution. And it's amazing, within a week or two, oh, my gut feels so good. Thank you, Dr. Bill. So that's one simple solution. Besides the rule of twos, eating twice as often, half as much, and chewing twice as long.
That's perfect.
And in fact, I have a chopstick somewhere around here. We often will when our kids come over, our grandkids, instead of using forks, I'll put chopsticks out just to slow them down. They love it. They love it. I love that my little 3-year-olds are picking up a pea or a berry with chopsticks. So just little things like that you can do to slow down. You don't overwhelm your gut.
That's super helpful. I just wanted to say my daughter, I have 5 grown kids, and one of my daughters studied in Granada, Spain, went over to visit, and I want to say they are a society, I'm overgeneralizing, but they don't experience the chronic obesity rates that we do here in the United States. People are really in quite good shape with their body weight. And I can't say that they really eat too healthy, because some of their food styles aren't healthy, but you know what they do? They slow down and they enjoy their food.
Yes.
You said about, like, what you said, something about twice the time to dine. they do that. And
Yeah.
so, and they do it at different hours. So it might be 9 o'clock at night and you'll walk by a restaurant or families with their windows open
Mhm.
and they're leisurely around the table. And they might
Yeah.
spend an hour and a half, and they enjoy their
Mhm.
food and they enjoy their company. And it's very different than a
Yeah.
picture of like a fast food moment, going through a
Yeah.
drive-through, eating it quickly on the way to soccer
Mhm.
practice. So I believe whether
Yeah,
it's
so but you just hit it. You just hit it on the head, because that's one of the that's what we teach a lot in the institute, or Dr. Sears Wellness Institute. We teach what we call lean start ideas to to children, just like you mentioned.
It's a beautiful way to eat. It's almost like a different way
Yeah.
to enjoy our
Yeah.
meals. And then it doesn't have to be calorie counting or all the pressure we put on ourselves, but simply slowing down and enjoying your
Yeah.
top 8. Yeah, very nice.
And you know what's interesting too? On the other side of that, when I was working out with Dr. Bill, we were training in the morning and we were writing this book on lean kids. Dr. Bill would always go to his fridge and he'd have his smoothie. I was really one of the first times, Bill, that I realized like you can get your vegetables like in the morning, because I grew up Italian and vegetables weren't like a big part of our diet. And so what a brilliant way of getting your vegetables in first thing in the morning.
Mhm.
And you
Yeah.
taught me that. I remember that years ago. Amazing.
Great,
Amazing.
Johnny. Well, and I want to thank you. You were the one who kind of helped me with the idea of the Wellness Institute.
Well, let's
thank you
talk
for that.
about that. There's two
Okay.
things that you mentioned a couple things. So Primetime Health, Bill, was such an incredible book. We want to make sure that people can get that book, Primetime Health. It's so rich with amazing information. Love to have you talk a bit about the Primetime Health Ministry and also the Dr. Sears Wellness Institute, and 11,000 coaches around the country that are sharing really what you're teaching all of us right now.
Well, it was interesting. See, I was transformed after a few years of doing all what we talked. I was transformed. I learned it. I did it. I felt it. Now I wanted to teach it. I wanted to share it. And what's interesting, how do I do it? I needed to share it. I had a dream, but a better word is goal. I had a goal. A goal is a dream with an action plan.
Mhm.
So my goal was then, how can I share it with as many people around the world, this art of transforming your body? The health coach model. So our model, you introduced me to lifelong friends, Bob and Dominic Hodgins.
Yes.
And we formed the Dr. Sears Wellness Institute, where we now have 4 classes. We have lean expectations during pregnancy. We have lean start, birth to 12. We have lean prime time, the seniors, 40 and up. And now we have a master's class. So we now are almost up to 12,000 health coaches in 82 countries.
Wow.
And what that gives me is what I call the helper's high. See, the helper's high, Sean, is that wonderful feeling. It's like a medicine for healthy aging, the helper's high. I go to bed at night thanking God that a few people around the world are healthier and happier and living longer and better because of our institute, or because of our goal and our dream. So that I love that helper's high. It's just a wonderful feeling. So I wish all of us listening and watching a high dose of the helper's high.
That sounds great.
Bill-
So Dr. Sears, oh, I'm sorry, Sean, go ahead.
Go deep, go. I could go in a direction.
I was just going to say, if people want to get plugged into the Dr. Sears Wellness Institute, whether they want to become a coach or they just want to take a couple classes and learn a bit more and get these tools under their belt, can you point us to the best way to get in touch?
Yes, and what's interesting, I think one of our fun videos on the Wellness Institute, coming movement. See, movement, people say, well, I don't have time to exercise. Well, have you heard of isometrics? Isometrics is where you see, I'm doing a workout. I have my legs right off the floor and I hold them. And I'm pushing my hands, my biceps together against each other. And I'm holding them. And I feel the burn. When you feel the burn, you're growing muscle. And you're burning calories, because that's the key to healthy aging eating. You want to burn more than you eat, burn more than you eat. And I learned this from Vince Fortunes. He's not only a professor of neurology at USC, but a former Olympic weightlifter. I said, Vince, you guys spend a lot of time, 15-hour plane trips. How do you keep your muscles in shape? Isometrics. You hold them tense. You hold and hold and hold till you feel the burn. That's how I keep in shape. So that's just one example of what you can learn, what we teach at the Institute, things that people say, oh, I never thought of that. So, but one of the things too that we teach is how to start the day, how to begin the day, because you want to begin the day, you want to teach your brain, your body, how to start the day. And too many people now jump out of bed and they check their cell phone, they check their email. No, not good for healthy aging, not good for any age. So can I demonstrate how I start the day?
We would love to know how you start your day. Let us in. Let us in on the secret.
Okay. Well, I get out of bed and I start the day, two simple words, movement meditation. Movement meditation. And I use as my mantra the attitude of gratitude. Now, no matter how life sucks, and it does some days, no matter how life sucks, we all have a few things to be thankful for. So I go out in the swimming pool or walking, any movement, and I move my arms in the rhythm of my gratitude, such as, thank you, God, for my life, 81 years. Thank you, God, for my wife, 55 years. Thank you for my health, cancer survivor. Thank you for my wealth, 8 kids. Thank you for my MD. Please make it my ministry. I take a big, deep breath, bring it on, and I'm ready to start the day. So that's an example of start the day in a meditative way. And what I tell them, I sometimes discharge my patient, then I say, okay, Joe, meditate more, agitate less. That's your prescription for the day.
Meditate more and agitate less. We love it.
When you're around Dr. Bill, you better bring a notepad with you and write down everything that he's saying.
I'll say definitely. I think we should just all go to the Dr. Sears Wellness Institute. Like, take all these. I have like pages of notes already. And I think my favorite part of all of it is you've made some very simple practices of maybe complex topics. You've made simple practices of them and you've woven them throughout the day. Like how we have a miracle morning to start the day, the smoothie for our first set of foods. Vitamins feel really simple in this way. Our eating life, having a different relationship and rhythm with food. You also talked about there's 5 keys: move smart, eat smart. We haven't really dived into think or sleep. Do you want to touch base on those two? Those would be really fun to hear some of your doctor.
Sure. Well, the think smart is the attitude of gratitude.
Okay.
What was fascinating is the new research called PNI, psychoneuroimmunology. That is that you can think, change your brain. You put happy thoughts into your brain. So your brain, the way I explain it, is the greatest garden ever grown.
Mhm.
And what do you need to grow a garden? You have 100 billion plants in your brain called nerve fibers. And what do you need to grow a healthy garden? You need to feed and fertilize it, number one. You need to irrigate it, blood flow, number two. And you need to keep the weeds out, toxic thoughts. So that's brain health in a nutshell. And the reason that I stress that is number one fear now of healthy aging is losing my mind. When I ask people that, my office, what is Dr. Bill? I'm afraid of losing my mind. Okay? And a very sad statistic is that 50% of people may get Alzheimer's or part losing their mind by the time they're 85. We don't need to be that statistic. And that's why we have programs like you're doing, that what we're doing right now is the tools to keep from losing your mind. And that change your brain, keep the weeds out, toxic thoughts. And so what I kind of program my brain. I call it trash bin. As soon as a toxic thought comes, trash bin. Think this, not that. Think this, not that. It takes a lot of effort, but eventually your brain obliges, think this, not that. So move more, stress less, go outside and play, and keep the weeds out of your brain garden.
I love the keeping the weeds out of the garden.
And sleep very quickly. So sleep is detox. So picture you're walking into your bedroom, which I call the sleep sanctuary. You go into your bedroom, imagine I'm entering my detox room, because you sleep, but your immune system report for night shift. It's when your immune system comes out and cleans house. It cleans house of all the toxic waste you accumulated, especially in your brain during the day. It's called the lymphatic system, where the glia cells, the immune system of the brain, kind of cleans all the junk and dumps it into the lymphatic system, the rivers of your body, and out it goes. See, so think of sleep as detox. That's why the longest chapter in the Healthy Brain book is called Sleep Smart. Because as you get older, we've got a lot of kind of little aches and pains and all that to keep us from sleeping. But sleep is where you make your own internal medicines, especially in your immune system.
That's great. So we at Rise talk about a lot of sleep tips of cool temperature, having it a dark space, having an evening ritual to kind of prepare for sleep. So your body's more in line. Do you have any other one or two tips that you would share for somebody struggling in that area?
Yes. It's funny, what I learned for the kids, what works for the kids works for the older kids, like we are. Okay, we're just kids. I call it the I am technique. And I learned this from some moms in my practice. So because today's kids, and they're on overload. They have so many sleep problems, and that carries over into adult sleep problems. So I have them lie down, and I call it the I am technique. Think about all the good things you are. I am smart. I am pretty. I am a good soccer player. I am so funny. I have pretty hair. I am. And you drift off to sleep. And for the teenagers, as they're combing their hair and all that, I have them put the I ams on their bathroom mirror. So as they're grooming themselves, I am. See what your brain with the happy thoughts as you drift off to sleep, So there's no room for the toxic thought. That is not the time to think about what you're going to do next day or what you should have done the previous day. No, gone. I am funny. Okay.
Yeah, I love it. Hey, Bill, I really would love to have your thoughts on, you mentioned Alzheimer's as obviously it's a health crisis that we're dealing with for seniors. Can you talk a little bit more about the idea? I've heard you talk about preloading in many of your talks on healthy aging. What does that mean? And the importance of spiritual health. Like, how does that impact us as we're aging?
Oh, great. Well, Sean, you just mentioned one of the top words of healthy aging, preload. Preload is our top word we use in the Institute. Preload simply means, I call it preload to prevent. Preload means equipping your immune system inside, your immune system army, preloading your body with the habits we talked about. You know, eat smart, think smart, move smart, sleep smart, serve smart, helpers high, all that. Preloading your body with those habits when you're young, 30s and 40s. So when the illnesses of aging happens, and they do, your immune system inside says, you have preloaded us. You have an army inside. And the better you train the army, when a war comes, that army says, hey, you've trained us, we're ready to fight. For example, just to get a little visual example, my favorite part of the immune system is called the NK cell, natural killer cell. We have trillions of them, and they patrol the body. They're the Navy SEALs of your immune system, looking for germs and cancer cells that get in. And when, say, a germ or cancer cell comes into the body, this NK cell, picture a little round cell with a helmet on, with a gun, and that it gloms on to the germ or cancer and shoots a biochemical dart into the cancer cell or germ and blows it up. So right now, Sean and Dee and myself, we have NK cells blowing up cells in our body that are bad cells to make room for the good cells. And what is the NK cell? If they could talk, say, believe in me, feed me well, move me more, rest me with sleep, and I will fight better for you.
Wow.
That's our, what I call preloading, preload to prevent.
That is so good. That is so good. You know, you and I have talked a lot about ministry, and I remember you sharing with me that when you were a young man, that you were very much considering the ministry full time. And
Yes.
I would say, Dr. Bill, that you are in the ministry full time with 47 books and all that you've done to impact the world.
Well, thank you for mentioning the term ministry. Thank you, because I call it the God effect.
Yeah.
And sometimes, you know, it's interesting, more and more health counselors will come out and ask a person, what's your relationship with God? You know, and it takes people by surprise. But in a nutshell, I call it grow your God center. Grow your God center, because there's a whole field of research called neurotheology, which simply means that the closer you are to God, the more you feel the direction from God, the more spiritual investment you make in your life, the longer and the healthier you live. It's neurotheology for healthy aging. And the term investment also. So we're talking about invest in yourself. And I had a gentleman come in the office the other day, and what's so funny in my office, my young patients are bringing in their grandfathers and their grandmothers for a consultation. And I'll say, now, Dad, sit and listen to Dr. Bill. So I had a patient named Joe, says, well, Joe, welcome to the office. What do you do for a living? Oh, I'm an investment banker. Ah, I'm an investment banker. teachable moment. Well, Joe, I bet you have an IRA. Oh, yes, I have lots of IRAs, for all these investments. I said, Joe, do you have an IRA HA, individual retirement account for healthy aging? And he looked at me, oh my gosh, I never thought of preloading my body at an early age with how I eat, think, live, my spiritual direction, my helper's high, my movement. That's my IRA for health. So make an investment. And I think that's what when I listen to you and Dee, I think that's what we're talking about today. Make an investment into your healthy aging. And we just are giving you the tools on how to do it.
I love that. I feel like that really summarizes everything you've talked about, because when I think of each one of the tools, each one are an investment into our health. And I feel like your concept of preload, it's never too late to start. Like if we didn't start in our 20s or 30s, we can start today, and we can start focusing on your top 5. We can start eating better, moving more. I love the concept of moving more outside, paying more attention to those thoughts, our sleep patterns, the way we ultimately give back and serve. We can start that now, today. It's a warm invitation to say, like, hope is real. We can preload now to really rebuild our immune system. And whether we're 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, it's never too late to start, right? It's like,
That's right.
I have seen so many in my time with the Daniel Plan, working with Mark Hyman and Daniel Amen, so many people make some lifestyle shifts in those 5 areas to see profound changes, transformations happen, as you say, with being able to get off medications, having more energy, having blood work come back that was really off balance, in balance. So I love the way you are able to synthesize information, make it so practical, but you made it fun. I didn't know how.
And Dee, I like what you just said too, Dee, about getting off medication, or at least lessening your medication,
right,
instead of being one of the average prime timers taking 10. So I leave them with a message. I said, I want you to do more skills to take fewer pills, more self-help skills to take fewer pills. Learn how to make your own medicines, because the medicines you take are not as good as the medicines you make, because the medicines you make are custom made just for you. They come out the right time, the right dose. Medicare will love you. They're free. So fewer pills and more skills.
I think you could be a poet or a rapper. I'm not sure, one of the two.
Maybe a combination.
Right.
I think Dr. Bill, that's his new next career for 81 to 91 is going to be a rapper.
Dr. Bill rap. I'd love it.
Sean, you mentioned a magic word in healthy aging too, is to learn poetry. Poetry is very calming. So I'm going to tell you, Martha has a whole list of my corny poems. So one of the greatest exercises for healthy aging is dancing.
Yeah.
So Martha was a wonderful dancer. I was a klutz. So for our 50th wedding anniversary, I took a lot of dance lessons. So we danced at we danced to the Blue Danube Waltz at the 50th wedding anniversary. And I read Martha a poem.
Wow.
And I said, 50 years ago, when you said I do, did you really think it through? But then you knew our marriage had a chance when your klutzy husband learned how to dance.
Gosh,
poetry is healing also.
Oh my gosh, this has been so fun. I'm just ready to go take a walk outside, Sean. I don't know about you, but I'm gonna go make a green smoothie. I'm gonna walk outside. I'm not gonna let any negative thoughts come in, and I'm ready to charge the day.
Dee, I wrote down 10 things. Okay, you ready? Here, really quickly, I'm gonna read them through, and I don't know if I got them right, Bill, but I think I did. Make health your hobby. Make your own medicines. Like Dee said, go outside and play. eat a smart fat diet, enjoy the helper's high, stay lean, preload to prevent, enjoy movement meditation, grow your God center, and then you talked about positivity promotes longevity, those happy thoughts, right? Bill, this is so good.
Well, thank you for taking good notes, John. Thank you.
You helped me a lot. So, Bill, you have a new book coming out. We can't end without talking about that just briefly. Tell us your new book. It's obviously near and dear to your heart. So,
Yes, our newest book coming out next spring is called Conquer Cancer. Conquer Your Cancer.
mm,
And it's how to develop your own personal plan.
wow.
How to get the best blend of traditional cancer treatment.
Mm.
And that's why I survived, but also to make your own conquer cancer medicines inside.
Oh, wow.
So it's taken a lot of what we talked about today and using those to partner with your cancer care provider, your oncologist, to make your own anti-cancer medicines, conquer cancer medicines, in addition to the medicines you will take, because the whole field of cancer treatments really made a lot of changes, a lot of improvements. And so that's our next book coming out.
Oh, wow. We can't wait, Bill. We can't wait.
wait.
Yeah. So askdrsears.com. Any other locations, Bill, that you'd like? Well, we'll put it in our information for everybody to contact you. And 47, this will be 48th book, Bill?
Yeah.
This one, oh my
Mhm.
God.
That's I think my ADHD or my hyperactivity, but actually, it's a ministry.
Yeah.
It's a ministry,
Yeah.
John, and I just go to bed. In fact, at the end of our program, I think we will all have a high dose of the helper's high, because hopefully so many people will live longer and happier because of your program. Thank you.
You are such a
Thank you,
blessing.
Dr. Sears. We just love this whole hour to strategically think through how we can make investments in our health. You've made it fun, you've made it inviting, you've made it super practical. Like, we can grab a hold of these things, we can start them today. I'm so thankful that people can plug in to Ask Dr. Sears, the Wellness Institute, your numerous books, and we will shout from the rooftops when your new book is about to launch. We'd love to have you back on for a special webinar just on conquering your cancer in the spring. And we just want to say a huge thank you. What a blessing.
Thank you, Dee.
What a blessing.
Big hugs, Dr. Bill. Big hugs.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Too.